Hey guys, it's your girl Stef back with Teens on the Scenes with Afrovibes TV, and today I have a special guest, Mr. Michael. So tell us a little about yourself.
I'm an old man now, okay? And my name is Michael Thurville. I am the owner, editor-in-chief of Veda Communications LLC right here in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I got to talk directly into the mic. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
So you do photography, right?
Photography, photojournalism, I do a lot. It's not just centered on one particular thing. You know what I'm saying? There's always a next mountain or a next thing to hurdle to overcome.
Yeah.
That is my way of not becoming complacent in life.
Right.
I see a lot of people nowadays, they find this one thing that they feel like they want to do. And then when that one thing doesn't work out anymore,
Right.
they kind of just like fall off
Yeah.
and want to forget everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about yourself and your photography journey.
All right. I am a person of many trades, right? So we're gonna just take that one slice of photography out and talk about that, right? So I started actually in photography when I was 18 years old,
Okay.
but I didn't start like regular people. Well, I'm gonna keep it rated G, right? We have to do rated G, right?
Yeah.
So I started off in the adult film industry.
Okay.
I shot like adult stuff,
Mhm.
right? For parties and different things like that. I was also a DJ as well and selector, right?
Okay.
So that started there. And then for like a decade and a half, I didn't touch a camera,
Yeah.
right? And it wasn't until I got back here, well, not back here, but to Houston, I said, you know what, man, I want to go back and I want to revisit that. But this time I want to take a different angle on that, right? How far can I really go behind this camera?
Right.
You know, between, you know, working on firearms and military and law enforcement, locking folks up, all this kind of stuff. Like I've done that,
Yeah.
right? What can I do with this camera? So I was saving up for this camera. It was about at the time $1,400, right? And so I would always find myself like $100 short because I'm still paying bills, I'm still working, I'm still doing all this stuff, right? And one day so I'm just gonna go for it all, right?
Right.
So cameras have changed a lot in like 15 years to like 2 decades, right? So I get this camera, Canon, and I pay for it. And the guy takes my little $1,400 and I say, okay, so how do you turn it on? Right? So I didn't even know how to turn on the camera. Only thing I knew is that I needed this camera and I need to go take a couple shots, right? So he's like, man, look, you want your money back? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can give you money back because obviously you don't know what you're doing, right? And it was true. I did not know what I was doing in this new digital age. Everything changed. I'm coming from film, right? And so I took that first shot on a digital DSLR. The first shot was Papa's downtown. Nighttime. Nighttime was always a little bit more difficult to shoot. Got to shoot a little slower, right? No light. Image was good. I said, I'm going to do this. And did a fashion show the next following week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So what kind of photography are you most passionate about?
War photography. I am most passionate and as a model. I got you, right?
Yeah.
You want me to say, hey, modeling? Yes. You want me to say fashion show? Yes. But no, I am very much so into war photography, more so into real life news editorial photography.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that because there's only so many um, dodges and burns I'm going to do on an image for a portrait. Like it gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
I need something else. I need something a little bit more authentic when I'm sitting down in post and I'm working, right? Like take you for instance, right? I shoot you. For those who do not know, photography, editing, post production is the most intimate part of the process because I get to see everything that you didn't see. Right. So I can tell you if you didn't drink enough water for the last 2 days because your lips gonna be chapped up, right? I can see the split right here in the middle. I see everything that goes on. Right. So it is a very intimate part. And so that's where that trust with your photographer comes into play, right? Nothing wrong with that. But when you look at things like war photography and combat photography, documentaries, that's where you capture life. You don't really capture life from the portrait. The portrait was like, oh man, I look really great, but you really didn't look that way yesterday. I made you look a certain kind of way to
Yeah.
articulate your vision.
Mm-hmm.
But with real life, it's different. It's the blood, it's the guts. Like this guy right after the Dynamo game, OD'd right in front of me on the train tracks. I shot that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send that image over to you. You can put it into this video.
Okay. So describe your photography style and what are your key characteristics to define your work?
It's aggressive. I don't want to say Veda. I just want to say the way I shoot is aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's fast. It's not wasting your time.
All right.
If I can't dial in, if you don't know what dialing in is that portion where I calibrate the camera to a specific setting to render an estimate that is close enough to help you move through the post-production process faster. If I can't get that within, let's say, about 7 seconds, there's a problem.
Right.
Other photographers, they'll take their time with that. I'm not gonna do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm gonna like, listen, I need to get this shot. Shoot me, right? How many images do you typically get from me in the shoot? How many do you
A
get?
lot.
Give a number, because they don't know what a lot is. A lot could be like 10, and it is a lot. 10 is a lot for a lot of people. A number. What do you typically get? I'll tell her. In case you can't get it, she'll get 30 images same day. Average photographer is going to take 10, maybe 15 images, and you might not get those images for 3 to 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have a fast day turnaround for you.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So how do you approach a new project from start to finish?
I approach a project not haphazardly. There's always a process, right? And that process is project management, right? So yes, I went to college, master's, right? And so my minor was in project management. Everything in life is project management to me. Risk assessments, everything like that. But specifically for photography, there's a specific flow. So yes, there's a location, time, date, location. I always say that, right? What is that weather like? What is that lighting like, more importantly? What equipment do I have to bring? What kind of lens I'm going to be running? How fast can I run that lens? Under what conditions? These are all of the things that go through my mind way before I even see you.
Right.
So you may call me tonight and say, hey, I need you tomorrow morning at 9. I'm already looking at Google Maps to see where the sun is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works.
Okay, yeah. So how do you handle client feedback and criticism?
I'm fine with client feedback. Excuse me, spit. I'm fine with the feedback. I'm even fine with the criticism. What I'm not okay with is when people try to tell me how to do my job
Right.
as an operator,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let me do me. You hired me, or you decided to collaborate with me because you believe in the vision that I have that matches what you're trying to articulate.
Right.
Don't ask me to re-edit. I'm not going to do it. Don't ask me to do a lot of frequency separation. Like, if you're not paying frequency separation money, I'm not going to do that, right?
Right. Time is money.
Time is money, and money is time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So for me, yes, I'm going to crank out consistently a great image for you, but don't expect me to make you look like Jesus.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
So tell us about a challenging photo shoot and how you overcame it.
Challenging photo shoot was with here in Houston.
Anywhere.
I just love so many stories, but I want to talk about this one here because
Here, okay.
this
here.
particular person, she just happens to be in this room, and I don't want to put all her business out on the street like that. But see over there, the guilty will speak, the hurt dog will bark. But it was a very difficult shoot. Lighting was not the best, but we don't have control over the lighting for this particular shoot. Sound quality was not the best because we didn't have control over the sound, but we still shot. Can't tell you what it is, but just know that it was very entertaining.
Right. Okay, so what are some of your strengths and weaknesses as a photographer?
Let's talk about weaknesses. Everybody said they got a strength. My weakness that I had as a photographer is that I couldn't say no.
Right.
It took a long time as a professional photographer to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Houston and abroad, photographers tend to struggle with acceptance.
Yeah.
And I'm no exception to that rule. I want you to see that, hey, I have talent, skill, knowledge, ability, yes. But I also like you to be satisfied with that image, right? And I also like for you to see that, hey, this is somebody that I can build a working professional relationship with and consistently build something over time.
Mhm.
Then they got to the point where, yes, you all of those things are being fulfilled, but as soon as a photographer talks about, hey, it's time to go ahead and start trimming out them ducats now. I need a couple Benjamins flowing my way. Then it's all, well, I can find another photographer to do it for free. And that is the trap that so many photographers around this country and here in Houston deal with, because we want to be accepted. We want to get paid, but we also know that we can't get paid if we are not cranking out any work.
All right.
So for me to look at you and say, I like you, you're sexy. No, I need some money.
Right. You got money. Okay. So what advice would you give to a young person as an aspiring photographer?
Never shoot on automatic. Always shoot manual. Light is your friend. When I mean light, I'm talking about just light in general, whether it be artificial or natural light. Um, Learn to fail early, fail fast. Learn to say no. It's okay. There's always going to be another subject. Um, if you have any find out, scratch that last one, X that off the block. I want to say this. Uh, Find out what you want to shoot as far as a niche.
Mhm.
So if sports is your thing, shoot sports. If modeling is your thing, fashion, shoot fashion. But whatever you choose to do, plan to be the best at it.
Okay, that was actually good.
I appreciate that.
So what equipment and software do you use?
I'm not telling. I never tell. But I will tell you this, I've never used an Adobe product.
Mhm.
It's not that I have anything against Adobe, I don't. I just feel, from my perspective, that there are other great post-editing, post-processing software out there that are either the same, on the same level, or slightly above. Just understand that the software that I use processes raw images, because I only shoot raw, like 3% better than any Adobe product will.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna leave it right there.
So how do you ensure proper exposure and lighting in your photography?
First, by understanding what photography is. It's an estimate. We work in thirds. The only time you're gonna get an exact exposure is if you're working with a cinema lens on T-stops. So we work on f-stops. It's by thirds. So the better your estimate is, the easier you'll have it in post-processing, thus the faster you can crank out an image.
Mhm. So what is your post-processing workflow like?
What is it like? Well, I like to, let's take you for instance. I shoot you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boom, done. Let's say I get home 7 o'clock. Get home 7 o'clock. First thing I do, I take my dog out, because she's all that I have.
Mhm.
That's my dog, and I love her very much. Um, I'll look at your images, select, start the processing. Once that's done, start the branding, and then I send them out to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you stay updated with new photography trends and technology?
By shooting, by communicating with other photographers. Like, you'll go somewhere and you'll see somebody with a different setup than you have.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy's running Olympus. He's running Lumix. Tell me about that camera. What's your favorite thing about this camera? What do you like about it, man?
Right.
What does it fall short at? That's how you stay on top.
Okay. So can you explain your approach to composition?
Composition depends. Because for me, composition depends on the angle.
Mhm.
So I notice a lot of photographers don't use a lot of Dutch Dutch angles, right? And if you don't know what a Dutch angle is, it's a slightly obscured way of shooting where Everything is not center line straight. It is slightly tilted to one direction or the other. For me, it gives a little bit more of a dynamic shot. As you well know, I like working from the ground.
Yeah.
Like standing up is great. That's fine. But there is something about when you shoot someone from the ground. I would tell any photographer starting out or even professional, study film, watch film, because the techniques they use to shoot films is the same techniques that we use to shoot people in stills.
Hmm. So, how do you build a connection with your clients to make them feel comfortable?
Be professional. I want to say this, and I'm going to be very honest. You got some sleazeball photographers out here. You do. You got some photographers that take advantage of people. You have some photographers, oh, I'm not going to post your stuff on OnlyFans. And it's there,
Hmm.
right? Those boundaries I don't break.
Right.
It's a trust factor. If people can't trust you, no matter what kind of business that you're running, how do you expect people to go into business with you and support you?
Right.
Can't.
Okay. So, how do you choose what you're going to shoot?
How I feel sometimes.
Hmm.
Yes, it's like, okay, I'm going to shoot this person, XYZ. This is what we're going to do, blah, 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 blah. Done. But you see me when I'm out there, right?
Yeah.
I got headphones on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do I have headphones on? Because as soon as I put those headphones on, and depending on the type of track that's playing, I don't even see you. It's just me, that track, what I'm feeling from that track, and what I'm running through that camera. That's it.
So, what are you looking for in a great picture?
To me, there's no such thing as a great photo.
Mhm.
I just want people, including myself, to just shoot,
Hmm.
have a good time, be professional, right?
Mhm.
And continuously strive to crank out the best image that you can create and crank out.
All right. So, do you have any photographers that inspire you and why?
Manny Ortiz, is from Chicago, a great photographer. I want to give a shout out to, I'm like saying that, that sounds so good. I'm sorry about that. I want to say salute to Aaron, who's a photographer that I work with very closely here in Houston.
Hmm.
CMS Sports. Ando, his dad is a Mexican reporter, retired, one of the best Mexican reporters in all of Mexico. Man, he's right here in Houston, man. I really enjoy working with them. All of the photographers over at the Dynamo Dash soccer, or what we call football,
Right.
but more importantly, my journalists.
Hmm.
I love my journalists, and we are in a lot of trouble right now. They're laying us off in droves. A lot of us are being replaced by AI, so we're
Right.
losing jobs.
Yep.
So I'm a journalist. I write every day, geopolitics and everything like that. And so they always have a special place in my heart. And if I want to give a nice 5 seconds of silence to the journalists that are being killed by Israelis right now. We've lost 212 journalists. They've killed 212 of us.
Wow.
Car bomb explosions, airdrops, airstrikes. I try my best to post them because that's somebody.
Hmm.
And our job is to be the eyes and ears of the public. And if we can't do that, you don't know what's going on.
All right.
There we go.
Okay. Well, further ado, we will be on commercial break, and we will be back.
All right.
Hi, y'all. It's Stefania back with Teens on the Scenes on Afrovibes TV. And we're going to continue off from where we left off. So, do you have, how have your styles and techniques evolved over time?
Let's talk about how the technique began,
Mhm.
because I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm telling you, this is just what it is,
Right.
right? Everything that you see me do with a camera extends from me training people around the country on firearms.
Mm.
I can't help it. I can't. I've been behind the gun since I was like 21, right? So everything I do, everything I touch, the muscle memory is still there. It's never gonna go anywhere. So if you see me moving like that, like I had a guy stop me. I was over at the dynamo. He's like, "Who is that guy over there?" And he took my photo. It's like, man, I thought you had an AK for a second. And I was like, me too. Like I thought I did too. But it comes from that. So the style of shooting comes from efficiency of movement, economy of motion.
Mhm.
I shouldn't never be behind the camera and not know, or at least look like I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
It should be straight to the point. If I need to dial in, dial up, or do I need to stop down, stop up, I need to go ahead and do that.
Mhm.
Get it done because time is money.
Right. So, how do you handle lighting in both natural beauty and artificial?
Beauty, say that again.
How do you handle lighting, both natural and artificial?
I prefer, it's not that I don't or can't do flash photography, because I do,
Mhm.
right? But I prefer natural light because of its challenges.
Right.
I don't have control.
Yeah.
I have to set up 3, 5, 6 lights. I don't care how many lights it is, right? And I'm changing and I'm doing whatever I need. I'm tweaking it. But out there, 12 noon with cloudy skies, I don't control that cloud that gets in front of that sun.
Mhm.
So what does that mean for me? Immediately, I have to do a calibration change. I have to go in and dial in.
Right.
Oh, got more shadows now? Got to change.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, what are some of your favorite photography techniques?
Uh, the defined technique.
Like,
It's so broad. I had to ask.
yeah, like how you do things, like photography, like your favorite. Can
I don't have a favorite. I'm sorry to tell you that. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry, but I'm just having to be polite about it.
Right.
Like I don't have any one favorite
It's
thing
okay.
because I love it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I can get dirty, yes, I love it.
Okay. So, how do you find inspiration for your work?
Film.
Film.
Michael Mann, Michael Bay. I look at color grading,
Mm.
um, overall tone. I look at shadows a lot.
Mm.
Everything, like when I come into this room, the first thing comes to my mind is how am I going to calibrate the camera? And I actually do have a camera, right?
Yeah.
I go to Walmart,
Yeah.
right? I got a camera on me everywhere I go. I go to Walmart before I even step in the store. Before I step out of the car, I've calibrated for that because I never know what's going to happen.
Right.
And then like 5 seconds before I go into the store, I already know on this 100 mil, it's going to be 1600 ISO,
Mhm.
2.8 wide open,
Right.
325 or 325th of a second in speed. I know that.
You know that.
Right.
So, you also mentioned that you're a journalist.
Yes.
So, what sparked your interest in journalism?
Because I used to get in trouble all the time as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
True story. So my mom got tired of me doing stupid stuff. And she would say, hey, go sit at the bar and give me 200 lines. I will not blah, 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 right? I will not put Snickers into the VCR. I don't know if you know what the VCR is. Oh my gosh, you don't know what the VCR is. It's like a tape player from back in the 80s, and you put the tape in, and I used to stash stuff inside the VCR.
Oh, okay.
So do not do that. 200 lines. And then I would find something else stupid to do. And she would like, give me 500 lines, and I need that in 2 days, right?
Yeah.
And what happened over time was that I became an efficient writer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started enjoying sitting at the bar writing lines. I didn't even care what the lines were.
Right.
And then I was by myself, so I didn't have to talk to anybody,
Mhm.
right? And I can even listen to my music and write lines. And then one day my mom called on to the fact that I enjoyed writing lines.
Right.
So now she don't make me write lines. So she had to find something else to do.
Mhm.
And that's where that journalism piece started. Simply being forced to write.
Mhm.
So when I sit in front of a computer now, like you put a computer in front of me right now, I don't know what's going to come out.
Right.
It's going to be factual. And as soon as my fingertips touch, it's like God works right through my fingers, I swear to God,
Right.
and I crank stuff out.
Okay, so how do you get started in the field?
How did I get started in the field? Let's talk about the history of Veda. Veda just didn't start with me. It started with a colleague, military, and I thought that we had something special.
Okay.
And then it found out that we did not.
Right.
Here's what happened. And this is a lesson for all business owners and anyone who wants to get into any kind of business. We started equal footing. I'm very aggressive when it comes to building businesses. He's retired. Thus, he feels like he doesn't have to do anything.
Okay.
Right? I let it go on for a year.
Right.
Man, listen, when I tell you I write, I'm on my like 1100th article right now. Okay? This guy only punched in twice. I had to let him go.
Right.
Take over that company. Because it wasn't right that I do all of this work, designing websites, coding, everything, back end, front end, shooting you, editing, post-processing, running social media, blah, 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 networking, right? This guy's doing nothing. Yeah. This is not a negative thing towards him. This is just what happened. And so from that point, Veda Magazine became Veda Communications, LLC. Right. I own everything.
So, what are you most passionate about in your work?
Everything. Everything.
Okay, everything. Elaborate.
Yes, elaborate always. Camera work, passionate. Proofreading, passionate. Writing, passionate. Hey man, that SEO needs to be fixed. Passionate. I gotta do it every day. I gotta look at gold prices. I gotta look at silver, palladium, platinum. I got to look at all of this stuff every single day, sometimes twice a day. I'm listening to news all the time. Fun fact, my dad, who can't read, I then just found out he can't read. He come all the way from Haiti, Port-au-Prince. I didn't know he couldn't read till I was like, what, 40? So I'm like, sidebar. Yeah. I'm like, why was he looking at the newspaper all them times? Like, I like it was never upside down. It was always like the right thing. What was he looking at? Yeah. You know what I mean? But I guess that was his way of like trying to say, you need to be reading without telling me I need to be reading because you can't read, right? I didn't find out. And so I got into like news. Like I love my dad. I love my dad very much. He's a jerk, right? But I love him. And so as a kid, for me to spend time with him, we would do these following things. We would either A, watch James Bond, because I'm a huge, we are James Bond fan. We love James Bond, right? And then we eat mango, and then we drink ginger beer. We do this every Sunday. That's what we do. And then it'll be Masterpiece Theater, and then it'll be geopolitics. I was a kid. I didn't know anything about geopolitics. I only know Ronald Reagan by name because that's the president at the time, and in the 80s, like 89 or something like that. But he would watch 2 TVs at the same time. I remember when OJ was like driving the Bronco. I don't want to say he killed his wife. I don't want to say that. Somebody killed him, right? But anyway, the police are chasing this guy. He was watching that on TV and watching another TV with something going on in France. Right. And so fast forward to today, I find myself doing the same thing. So when I'm shooting you sometimes, if I'm not listening like music, it's geopolitics. So when I shot the men's clay tournament, tennis, right, like 3 weeks ago for like a week, I'm shooting and I'm listening to geopolitics at the same time for the whole week. So I got it right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to inspiring journalists?
Right. Same advice I would give you about cameras. What do you like to write about? What are you passionate about? Right? Write about that. Learn it. But on the flip side of things, find something that you don't know nothing about and write that. The old argument is, if you can argue for what you are for and then turn around and argue with what you're against, you truly understand the argument. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There you go.
So, what's your favorite thing about being a journalist?
meeting people, talking to people. I would say that this camera took me in places that I would never otherwise be.
Mhm.
Mayor Turner, fun fact, I shot him right before he died. I didn't even know. He came to the Ion building. I shook his hand. Hey, how's it going? Long time no see. Shot. Gone. A week later, hey man, he passed away.
Mhm.
That close to death, right?
So, if you could be remembered for one thing in your career, what would it be?
For this,
A journalist, yeah.
dying behind the camera.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time. I know it's like weird.
But it's something you like to do.
Yeah, for this camera, I would give up everything for. That same camera that you stand in front of,
Mhm.
I would go homeless for. I'm serious. When I go out there and there's some march or some teacher protest, because you know, protests get crazy.
Mhm.
It only takes one person to commit a violent act, and then like everybody jumps in on that. Serious. Like that moment of danger right there.
Mhm.
That's where I like to be.
Okay. So, um, can you share a story about a challenging situation you faced while reporting?
Uh, I don't want to call it racism because I don't know if it's racism, but I do know that it's this guy's not. He doesn't look like he belongs.
Mhm.
Point of fact, you do Sarah Week, which the billionaires come out, right? Black Street, State Street, Chinese billionaires. They got money. Like they can buy all of Houston 10 times over, right? You go in there, you walk in there, well, I walk in there, and they give you this look like you're not supposed to be there. You don't fit.
Yeah.
You're not light enough to be there. Because oftentimes I'm the only one of us there.
Mhm.
Which when I look at that, I don't get upset about it, but it does make me kind of wonder where's the rest of us at?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do you approach interviewing sources, especially to those who might be reluctant to speak?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Michael Thurwell, editor-in-chief of Vedacomm Communications. I want to ask you a very specific question. I don't want to talk to you, man, but I think you should talk to me. This is why you should talk to me. Yada, 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 yada. You know what? I'm talking to him. Hey, man, what do you think about those Saber Cats? What do you think about those Houston Dynamo? Start off with small questions like that. But the question I really want to ask is, what do you think about what's going on in West Asia?
Mhm.
Really, I could care less what goes on in the sports world. Sports world gives me a break from geopolitics. I really want to know what people feel. I want to know what you think, not what someone else told you.
Mhm.
What do you really think?
Yeah. So, what are the biggest obstacles you faced in your career?
Biggest obstacles?
Yeah.
Money.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. It's just the world. I've watched the world change at least 4 or 5 times in my entire lifetime since I've been here. And people just don't want to pay.
Mhm.
I've watched people stand in line overnight for $500 pair of Jordans. I've watched them do it. And they'll be like, hey, man, my son is growing up. He's turning 2, and we need some baby pictures. Can you come shoot? Like, yeah, I'll come shoot. $400. Nah, I got a cell phone. Like, okay, that's the biggest hurdle.
Mhm. Okay. So, how do you stay motivated and focused on your work?
Not to be religious, but I would most definitely say remembering as a man, I can't speak like as a woman or anything like that. I'm not here.
Mhm.
But for us men, we must always remember the purpose that God has put in us.
Mhm.
That's what keep you going. That'll be something like, I want to write today. For God, don't you do that. Who you to tell God no?
Right.
Who you is? I'm a nobody. Right, that's why you should go right. So I go to
So, how do you handle stress and deadlines?
deadlines are to be expected and stress is to be expected. It is just another thing.
But how do you handle it when it comes?
Just do it. Get it over with. If you do what is hard, you'll have it easy later.
Mhm.
If you do what's easy now, you have it hard later. I guarantee you.
Okay. So, can you describe a time when you had to cover like a sensitive topic?
Yeah. Define sensitive.
Sensitive, like how you were feeling at the time.
Like for me,
Yeah.
I haven't had that experience yet.
Oh, okay.
So I'm detached from it.
Right.
So like when that guy ODs in front of me and busts his head on the train tracks right here in Houston, I have to, well, it's instinctive for me. Like it doesn't matter how I feel. My job is to capture. I don't care if that train is coming, getting ready to roll this dude over. My job is not to help him. My job is to capture. You can't capture if you're helping somebody. That's that other guy's job.
Mhm.
Stay in your lane. That's what that is.
Okay. So, what's a funny or memorable story you've experienced in like journalism?
That is the most funniest thing ever. I don't want to get into it because it's not really personal, but it is private, and it's the joke that we know. But believe it or not, she is funny. And if you don't know what we're talking about Miss Hubby. She's exceptionally funny, exceptionally talented. Yeah. And it was great.
Okay. So, what's the best compliment you've ever received about your work?
Wow, man. I like the way you did that.
Mhm.
LinkedIn, I had a colonel from the military. He reached out to me and said, man, I love what you do.
Right.
I read all your articles. He's in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
When I get someone from Venezuela reading, when I get someone from Qatar reading, from Moscow,
Yeah.
from all over the world, places I never heard of. Like, this is one place in Africa. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah.
But you African, all right,
Mhm.
great. You know what I mean? But when they come to me and they read, and it's like, man, then you really helped me out.
Right.
I didn't know that about that particular place. Thanks for enlightening me about that.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Okay. Well, y'all, that does come to an end. So
Yes, it does.
you can let them know like your socials and where they can find you at.
Veda communications can be found at Vedacomm with two M's.com. That is VEDACOMM.com. And Instagram, Veda underscore communications.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it.
Okay. And y'all already know where y'all can find me at on Instagram at step.model underscore
Yep.
stef.model underscore and my modeling workshop page, Model Diva Stefania, MODELDIVA STEFANIA. Stay tuned with Teens on the Scenes on Afrovibes TV. Thank you.